Ladies and gentlemen, happy Thursday and welcome to the Early Edge. I see the chat is already buzzing. I see you, Nick, Big Cheesy, CID, Mark Buckholtz is in here among so many others. Smash the like button if you could. We've got an excellent show for you today. We've got some of the heaviest hitters that SportsLine has to offer. But let's take a look first at what we did yesterday. We've got a couple of bets pending, including my golf bet. We're like 7 or 8 holes in to my golf play. We've got a 2-shot lead. Hopefully, we can even up this board because 1 and 2, not super acceptable. Let's try to go 2 and 2. And then we have another pick from yesterday pending as well. So we can still end Wednesday's picks with a winning record. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to get right to it. Let's bring in the stars of the show. I told you. It's Heavy Hitterville. It's Mike McClure. It's the Sniper, and it's Propstarz. Love this crew. Sniper, haven't seen you in a few days. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. I'm happy to be back.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And it's good that you're being flanked by Mike McClure because yesterday, Mike, as far as I can recall, debuted his weather report, which we're getting into these dog days of summer. This stuff is really important. Mike, anything to report on the weather in MLB today?
Yeah, a couple of situations. It is a Thursday, so it's a slower day across the league. I would say Seattle and Cleveland still a very good situation overall for that ballpark. So maybe look at both of those teams. San Francisco, St. Louis, not being played in St. Louis, but still excellent weather conditions here. Very low air density index, high temperatures. And then the Dodgers and Rockies, not that you were probably if you're playing DFS anyway, you probably weren't using starting pitching there. But if you're looking at backing starting pitching in that game, understand we could see some in-game delays there. A lot of thunderstorms in the area today at Coors Field.
All right. And speaking of baseball, Proppy, I want to get to you in a second. But Sniper, talk to me because a lot of people may not know that the San Francisco Giants-Cardinals game is in a alternate location. Can you just speak to that for a little bit?
Yeah, and Mike mentioned that it's not in St. Louis, even though the Cardinals are listed as the home team and they are the host of this series. This is the game where Major League Baseball is honoring the Negro Leagues, and it's played in Birmingham, Alabama, home of the Black Barons, which is the team where Willie Mays broke into Major League Baseball or broke into professional baseball at age 17. It obviously was not called Major League Baseball then. That's where he broke in. He was kind of going to be the centerpiece of this. He was Major League Baseball's greatest living player. And then on Monday, we heard he's not going to be able to make the trip. That was kind of, he's age 93. So it was kind of we lost him on Tuesday. I wrote something on CBSSports.com about how you could make the argument that he was the greatest player of all time. So it's unfortunate that he died this week, but I expect Major League Baseball to blow it out. They've had a couple days to put together a package honoring him as perhaps the greatest player we've ever seen. This is a good spot to do it. Giants are in the game. That was obviously who he played for the most. He had to stop with the Mets late in his career, but he's known as a Giant. And unfortunate that we lost him, but the timing is right here to honor him as we're playing in the ballpark where he broke into professional baseball as a 17-year-old.
Extremely well put by CBS Sports finest Matt Snyder. Absolutely. Kind of love that recap because, again, a lot of people don't really appreciate what this setup is all about, and you encapsulated it quite well. Proppy, let me go to you before we get to our picks, and actually you're going to lead us off with your MLB pick. And by the way, that's one, by the way, so far. So I still got 2 to go. You're probably thinking, hey, soccer is there's a lot of going on with Copa America and Euros 2024. Where's Martin Green? Where's Buckets? Good news. We have SportsLine picks coming your way right after Proppy's pick, one in Copa America and one in Euros 2024. So don't worry. We know soccer picks, very important, particularly this time of year. Proppy, but I got to ask you, speaking of picks and this time of year, before we get to your official pick, you have now turned the page on NBA. So now let us know, is it MLB up until NFL season? Because we are 77 days away from NFL kickoff, 65 days away from college football kickoff, which to me means it's kind of right around the corner. Are we going MLB for the next 2 months?
First and foremost, good morning, Sia. Good morning, gentlemen. I love being on this Thursday show with Sniper and Mike. They just have a treasure trove of great information, and I love learning about baseball and fantastic history and, very great stuff from Matt and Mike. But yeah, as far as my picks go for the remainder of the MLB season, it's all full steam ahead with MLB props, primarily K props. But I will also be heavily invested in NFL and NBA futures markets. The NBA draft is upcoming, as well as as you mentioned, the NFL season starting 70-something odd days away. So I love dabbling in season-long props, futures, season-long player props as well. So I'll have a tremendous amount of picks and coverage of NFL as we approach the season, as well as some NBA stuff as we approach the draft.
Absolutely. We'll have some NFL content, college football content as well when it comes to the futures market stuff that you might want to take advantage of now because the line's likely to move before the season. So definitely stay tuned for that. But Poppy, let's get to an official pick. Let's start in Major League Baseball. What's the play today?
Yes, yeah, I have a play that I absolutely love. I'm going to fade Washington Nationals pitcher Mackenzie Gore. I'm going to fade him under 17.5 outs. I also like him under 6.5 Ks. I prefer the outs here a little bit, mostly due to the price point. This opened at plus money. I believe it's been bet down to around minus $1.40 on some books. That is a little bit rich as far as a multi-unit play, but still deserving of a one-unit play, in my opinion. Mackenzie Gore has pitched well this season, but he hasn't pitched deep very much. He's been under 6 innings pitched in 9 of his 14 starts on the year, but this really has to do with the matchup. He's going to face a Diamondbacks offense that's an absolute buzzsaw right now. They are red hot. They are the best team as far as hitting is concerned since June 1st. They lead the major leagues in OPS, weighted on base average. They've been absolutely tremendous, and they specialize really against opposing southpaws. And they're just tremendous against left-handed pitching, where they have the second best OPS on the season. So this is just a really tough spot for Mackenzie Gore, who really doesn't go deep much on his own, and then just facing a really difficult matchup right now. They also have a very low K rate as well. They mix a high OPS with a low K rate, so it doesn't get much tougher from a matchup perspective for Gore. I like him to go under 7 strikeouts, and I love him to go under 17.5 or fewer than 6 innings pitched today.
All right, Mackenzie Gore's under is the play today, and a little extra sprinkle maybe on the strikeouts under as well. Let's go right to some soccer. I mentioned it, the SportsLine picks. We've got Copa America, we've got Euros 2024. We also have Bradley Jacobs in the chat, who has been on fire. Moshi's been in the chat as well. He's been on fire in baseball. A lot of picks in the chat. We absolutely love to see him. All right, we're going to start today at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Euros 2024, Spain, Italy. Both teams to score. That's our first of 2 soccer plays. But the second soccer play, it's in Copa America. We've got Canada, Argentina over 2.5. This one's a little juicy, minus 145. Again, Canada, Argentina over 2.5 is the play. This one at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to place these bets, I got an idea. Go to BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10, and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. All right, Sniper, it's been a few days. We got to get to your picks right here, right now, except we got to hear a message from our partners first. We are back on the early edge presented by BetMGM. Alex Polito says Snyder's the best. Well, I happen to agree, at least tied for the best with Mike McClure and Propstarz. Sniper, before we get to your pick, if somebody in the chat can give me an update on my pending play, I'd appreciate it. I don't want to look at my phone in the middle of the show. Let's take a look at Robert McIntyre. Somebody update me in the chat. Robert McIntyre, who was he up against? I can't even remember my pick. Oh, Jake Knapp, of course. He had a 2-shot lead when this show started. Let's see, maybe it's a 1-shot lead. Maybe it's a 3-shot lead. By the way, Akshay Bhatia is in the first round lead. It's very early. He was the last one out as far as my first round leaders are concerned. So I really hope he doesn't end up in the first round lead, although I did like him this week. All right, Sniper, let's get back to baseball. Let's get back to Guardians and an over, maybe?
Correct. No, not an over. I'm just playing the Guardians to win this game. A little uneven here. If you look at the records, that is Guardians at home and Mariners on the road. The Guardians are 22-9 at home. The Guardians are 22-9 at home. The Mariners are 17-20 with a -22 run differential away from T-Mobile Park. So with this game being in Cleveland, that's a big advantage right off the top for the Guardians. And Luis Castillo being on the mound for the Mariners, a lot of people might kind of go say, hey, we're looking at the starting pitching matchup here. But the Mariners are actually 3-4 in Castillo road starts this season. He's nearly a run worse in ERA on the road. Plus, when the Guardians faced him in Seattle earlier this season, they knocked him around the yard. He gave up 10 hits in less than 6 innings against that offense. Mike mentioned earlier that there's a nice hitting environment here for this game. If it is a slugfest, the Guardians are in better shape for this one. Being at home, they have the better offense anyway, the more well-rounded offense. I like the Guardians in this game, even with Logan Taylor Allen on the mound for the Guardians. I know he has a rough ERA, but he has a lot of good outings mixed in with some really bad ones. He's inconsistent. He did throw 6 scoreless innings against the Mariners earlier this season, so I like the Guardians to win this one in what is essentially a pick-em. Also, I am going with an over, but it's a little bit to the east here. We're going to go to the Bronx, and we're going to go Orioles-Yankees over 8.5, -110, so it's close to a pick-em here. Look, the Yankees are tied with the Dodgers for the most runs in all of baseball. The Orioles are next. They're in third. Both of these offenses are great. They combined for 13 last night. I believe Aaron Judge will be back in the lineup for the Yankees today. Even if not, they have a formidable offense there. We saw Giancarlo Stanton with a big 3-run home run last night after Volpe and Soto got on base for him. So we know that the front of that order can do a lot of damage, especially if Judge does come back. Cole Irvin on the hill for the Orioles, a good 3.07 ERA. But if you look at his peripherals, he's a good regression candidate. The Orioles also have a soft underbelly of the bullpen that we saw the Yankees expose last night. On the Yankee side, Luis Gil, I know he has a 2.03 ERA. He looks legit. He looks like the part, but he's 26 years old and he's never been this good before. So at some point, it feels like he's due a stinker. The Orioles have a great offense. They did see him earlier this year. Maybe a little familiarity will help. He dominated them last time he saw them, but you never know, a second look at him, and maybe he's due a little bit of regression. I think we're going to get to 9 rather easily here, no matter which team helps. Maybe it's both.
Very interesting, because this feeds into my play quite well. So I'll just give that out right now. I like the Yankees first 5, but I'm laying the half a run because I just don't want to pay the juice on the money line, which is going to be in like that 160 range. But the key part of what Sniper just said was Cole Irvin being a regression candidate. I think we've all been, well, by the way, Luis Gil might be a regression candidate too, especially against the Orioles. So I take his point with respect to both teams being able to score, but we've been waiting for the Cole Irvin regression, and we've already started to see it. So whether Aaron Judge is in this lineup or not, and I do expect him to be in the lineup, but I think both Sniper and I are really, truly just speculating there. Even without him, Irvin, over the last couple of games, we're starting to see the cracks in the armor, if you will. And when you're facing this Yankees team that's hungry to get the better part of this series, I just think this is a bad situation for a guy who's already showing regression to face the Yankees. Will Luis Gil give up a run or two in the first 5? Maybe, certainly against this Orioles team, but I expect Cole Irvin to get touched up pretty well. So I'm willing to lay the half run, willing to pay the -120 as opposed to the money line play. Give me Yankees first 5, -0.5. And I know Moshi, it looks like, yeah, Moshi says synergy, and Moshi's been hot. I think he might be on the money line, according to the comment earlier. Either way, if you don't want to pay that juice, you can always throw that in a parlay if you want to take his play and not give up the half a run, which sometimes does come into play. I got to admit it. Those are some of the MLB picks. There were some golf picks, Mike McClure. Let's see. Chris Kirk over Sung J M. Somebody asked about that with Kirk getting +115. I don't love that because I think Sung J M is sneaky in this tournament. That one would be a stay away for me. I would lean towards Sung J. But Mike, I know you also have a golf pick. And what's so cool about this pick is I have 2 kind of primary outrights. I threw in a third one in Sahith Theegala. I just kind of sprinkled that one in. But my 2 primary outrights were Ludwig Oberg and Victor Hovland. And it looks like you have a play today in round 1 on Victor Hovland.
I do see it. We're going to bet round scores. I know some of you have noticed. I like to bet round score in round 1. I think it's one of the biggest edges in golf betting right now, just because books are posting round scores before the round even starts, before a lot of people are playing, but you do get a decent size of on-course data if you're targeting guys, mid-morning or in the afternoon. You get to watch, you get to see how comparable players are playing, you get to see how certain holes are playing if you profile holes. And that's where I went here with Viktor Hovland. I went first round score under 67.5 plus 110. I did play this on FanDuel where it was available. This means we need a -3 round or better. This is going to be a birdie fest this week. We already have someone at -3 under in the first 8 holes. We have multiple players under par on the front 9 here. So I like this spot for Viktor Hovland. When you look at last week, I actually think he was really good when he was able to hit greens. We know that Hovland has struggled around the greens at times, but when he's able to hit fairways and hit greens, he is absolutely elite. This is a track that he has had a ton of success doing that, not only here, but all of the comparable courses that we have. So with this course, we have several, really about 5 really strong comp courses. Hovland has won at 2 of them and top 5 at 2 of the others. I think this is a great spot to back Viktor early. I love that he's playing alongside another great player in Morikawa. That's another edge in golf betting, is just the correlation to 2 players playing together. So I like Viktor Hovland here, -3 round or better at plus 110, as I think this price point should be all the way down to -120.
I love what the PGA Tour is doing with pairing some of these guys together. I noticed Thorbjornsen, who's kind of the new kid on the block, is tied to Oberg in the first couple of rounds. But Morikawa and Hovland, Mike, they came in together. They kind of dominated together, at least in terms of rookie years and things of that nature. Matthew Wolff was part of that conversation until he fell off. But I think that's going to be a career battle between those two in terms of who slots above the other. And it feels like it toggles back and forth every few months where we're talking about Colin Morikawa glowingly, and then all of a sudden it's Hovland. We're back to Morikawa. Proppy, I got a question for you. And Mike, I'm going to throw this back to you because it's a Chiefs question. And listen, if there's going to be an NFL question in here, I just can't ignore it. Because again, I'm always willing to talk some NFL. Probably Chad Eubanks says, side note, because we were talking about NFL futures, lock in Pacheco over 7.5 rushing touchdowns this year at plus money while you can get it. No comp in the RB room, as in competition, and Chiefs O should take a step forward. Now, one thing that's interesting about this is I think when we see a 7.5 proppy, we're like, that's pretty low. I mean, 7.5 is pretty high, which is why you're getting the plus money. But Chad is right about the no competition in the running back room. Any thoughts on a Pacheco rushing touchdown over?
I have a few thoughts on this. First and foremost, I love Isaiah Pacheco. I think he's a tremendous value pick from a fantasy perspective. If you look at where he's being presently drafted, both in redraft leagues, dynasty leagues, best ball, I'm going to be heavily invested in Isaiah Pacheco. Andy Reid loves to basically give one running back the lion's share of the work. I thought Pacheco played really well last year. I thought he was the Chiefs' best offensive player, besides obviously the great Patrick Mahomes, especially down the stretch when it counted most. So I'm all in on Isaiah Pacheco. They didn't bring in any competition there either. I do think they'll lean heavily on him. As far as season-long markets are concerned, 95 to 98% of my positions are going to be on unders. I do not think there's a lot of value when we're talking about close to even money, betting touchdowns in particular, which are a fluky market to begin with. On overs when it comes to running backs, which is just such injury prone position, just so violent. So that is going to be specifically a category I largely avoid, are overs for running backs in touchdowns. I do love Isaiah Pacheco, but again, I would caution you, a lot of those numbers will look very appealing and attractive because of the nature of that position. Starting running backs averaging roughly like 12 games per year. There's just a lot that gets baked into that that may not, be evident at first glance. So I would just say to be careful with some of those props, especially season-long ones, especially if we're talking about locking up money for the course of 4 months. So love Isaiah Pacheco. Don't love the category, however.
Yeah, Mike McClure, any response, any follow-up?
Yeah, I could not agree more. Running backs, look, if they play 13, 14 games, that's a great season for them. The way he runs is a little concerning for sure. But just in general, I don't see any reason to lock up money for 6 months on an even money play that the act of scoring a touchdown for him, his anytime touchdown in any given game where you could isolate it is going to be the same price point. So you're much better off isolating him scoring a touchdown in any specific game that you might choose, as opposed to looking for a completely healthy season out of him for the same price.
Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, you just got what, 2.5, 3 minutes worth of analyzing an NFL prop on Isaiah Pacheco from every single possible angle. And Mike, I love how you just punctuated that with what the odds would be week to week in the anytime touchdown market. That is just totally like, listen, this stuff eludes a lot of people, a lot of times, including myself. So love the education on that. Keep that in mind when you're addressing props as we move forward month to month and we finally get to NFL season. All right, let's finally get to the recap screen. Let's see what we got today. We've got a couple of picks pending. Don't forget, from the Wednesday show, Sniper, Guardians money line -105, and the over in the Orioles-Yankees game at -110. I'm on that Yankees game too. First 5, I'm back in Luis Hill again. -0.5 run in the first 5 at -120. Proppy, Mackenzie Gore under 17.5 outs at -103. And McClure is on Victor Hovland round 1 under 67.5 strokes at +110. SportsLine picks. We go to Copa America. We go to Euros 2024. We're starting with Euros. Spain, Italy, both teams to score -110. And Canada, Argentina over 2.5 at -145. All right. Brandon Silva says it best. Good luck, fam. Let's cash some tickets today. What a great show. What a great lineup. Hopefully, we have a great recap screen for Big Pick Energy Friday. I hope you're here with us tomorrow, same time, same place. On behalf of Mike McClure, Propstarz, the Sniper, and Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. I'm the Counselor of Cash. This is the Early Edge. Have a great day, everybody. We rest our case.